I'm Shae Russell for mining.com.au, and joining me today is Frazer Tabeart, the Managing Director for Alma Metals. Frazer, it's great to see you again. How are you?
I'm great, thanks, Shae. Good to see you too.
Now, let's talk all things base metals and the resurgence of exploration in Queensland. Now, in the last couple of years, I've noticed that the Queensland government seems to be quite interested in building up more exploration within the state. And you've got a Queensland project in the state that we'll talk about shortly. But tell me, why Queensland and why now?
Yeah, look, I think the first thing is, Queensland's got great existing endowment, and we're talking base metals here. So we're talking predominantly copper, but we're also talking lead and zinc. So, we've got some great existing mines. We've got Mount Isa, we've got all of the deposits such as Ernest Henry around Cloncurry, you've got Cannington, you've got Dugald River, etc. So there's this great existing endowment, and that covers a whole variety of deposit types. So that's always a good place, if you want to go exploring, is you go where people have found things before, because that the geology is permissive. I guess two other things that are important and very current. The first one is, Mount Isa copper mine is, getting towards the end of its resources. So those are depleting, and that mine is likely to close within the next 1 to 2 years. That's going to put a bit of pressure on the smelter at Mount Isa. So there's a smelter that's now looking for feed, and that will certainly incentivise people to supply into that. And then, the third thing that's there is, the state government's been very supportive of critical mineral exploration and investment, and copper is on that list. So you're seeing, a lot of work by the Queensland government, including things like copper stream, which is to, take power infrastructure from Townsville to Mount Isa, to give, new developments, enough access to power to make their operations workable. So you put all three of those together, Queensland's a very attractive place to explore and develop, base metal deposits.
There's been some recent mergers and acquisitions, commonly called M&A on the finance side of things, within Queensland. What does this mean for mining within the state overall?
Well, I guess it just shows that, people think Queensland's a great place to do business. Firstly, the existing endowment is there, the projects are there. So, we've seen, groups such as Harmony Gold have come in, they've acquired the Eva project near Cloncurry. We've seen the recent recapitalisation of True North Copper, it's a $50 million recap there. They've got, projects around the Cloncurry district as well. We've seen Carnaby recently raise money to acquire an asset close to their existing resource base. So, there's a real impetus in the last few months on the M&A path, and I think that just reflects what we previously talked about. You've got the discoveries, you've got a supportive government, you've got a stable jurisdiction there. It makes Queensland a very good place to do business for these styles of deposits.
And finally, let's talk about where the Briggs Copper Project within Queensland sits within this. Now, obviously, it's still an early stage exploration project. What's Alma Metals doing with it to progress it to an advanced exploration stage?
Yeah, well, we're very close to finishing quite a major drilling program that we kicked off in June this year. So we're currently on the last drill hole there. About 85%, maybe 90% of that work has been infill drilling on the main parts of the Briggs resource, where we've already got over 1 million tonnes of copper metal defined in a low-grade resource. So that drilling program, is infill. It's designed to do, three things. Firstly, provide information so that we can upgrade our resource to an indicated category, or certainly some part of it, and that will allow us to, that will certainly underpin a scoping study. The drilling is also providing material for metallurgical test work. 1,600 kilograms of core is currently somewhere between Gladstone and Perth on its way to the Met Lab for the test work program. And then also, part of what we wanted to achieve with this drilling was to identify some zones of higher grades in the near surface environment that might, form the basis of starter pits for a larger operation. And certainly the results so far have been very pleasing. Almost all of the holes we've drilled have hit higher grades. Particularly the first one that we drilled, which hit a project high of 276 metres at 0.45% copper, so almost twice the grade of the average. So, we're very pleased with the way this is developing. That's all going to lead into, as I said, a network program that's just about to kick off, and then a scoping study and a resource update in the first half of next year. So, very exciting times for Alma and Alma shareholders.
Now, that brings us to the Briggs Copper Project within Queensland, which is obviously, as you've just explained, a great time to be exploring for base metals out here. But what attracted you to this particular project?
Probably two or three things that really attracted us. One is, yeah, it's clearly got the potential for large scale. It's a large system. There's over 400 million tonnes that we've already identified, and we think that's likely to grow with more drilling. So that was the first thing. Secondly, the deposit sits at surface, which means there's no expensive pre-strip. It also means the exploration phase is relatively straightforward. So with a large deposit close to surface, then there's the opportunity for very low cost of mining, and that massively offsets the perceived low grade issues. And then the final sort of piece of the jigsaw is its location. I mean, the project sits only sort of 10 kilometres to the north of the major infrastructure corridor, and only 60 kilometres to the west of the deep water port of Gladstone, where all of the infrastructure that you need to develop a large mine, workforce, access to power, etc. It's all there. And that's going to have a huge impact on reducing capital costs and startup for a major operation in due course.
Listen, Frazer, this has been a great chat. Thank you so much for being here today, and I can't wait to speak with you next time.
Yeah, no worries. Look forward to it.